All right, so here is the master cylinder and the master cylinder reservoir. This one requires .3 in the system, and you're probably asking yourself, well, what's the difference between .3, .4, .5.1, and .5? So .3 and .4 is essentially the same, except for .3 will, I'm not sure if you can say it lasts longer, but it definitely has different properties. It does resist moisture, absorbing moisture. Now, there's some properties that brake fluid has, and the main ones to remember is it needs to be a good lubricator, okay? It needs to lubricate all the seals, and it needs to prevent them from, drying out, cracking, rotting, whatever. It needs to protect them, so it needs to be a good lubricator, okay? It must resist moisture, okay? If the more moisture you have in the system, the lower the boiling point, and the higher the freezing point, all right? So it must resist absorbing moisture, okay? Another one, which would be third, it needs to have a high boiling point, all right? There's no sense in having a low boiling point if your brakes get really, really hot and the brake fluid starts to boil. And you're probably asking yourself, well, how does it boil? Well, it can boil in a closed system. And when it does boil, it traps that air in there and it has nowhere to escape. So now, instead of actually, hydraulically locking the system, it's actually compressing the little air pockets, and you get a spongy pedal. And number four, the four main ones you got to remember, is that it must have a low freezing point. Okay, that freezing point is important for cold weather, okay? And it's also important because you don't want ice crystals in your system. That is actually brings us back to one of the other properties is it absorbs moisture. The more moisture it absorbs, the higher the freezing point, which means it can't go to lower temperatures without forming those little ice crystals. So .3 and .4. Now, you can put .4 and .3, but you can't put .3 and .4. Now, why that's a rule of thumb? That's for debate. You can actually cross them both. The main argument there is that .4 has a higher boiling point than .3, and for high performance vehicles, hotter climates, mountainous areas, you want that .4, okay? So that's why that's that whole you can mix .4 with .3, but you can't mix .3 with .4, okay? Because temperature is more important to keep that fluid from boiling than it is from it to absorb moisture, because no matter what, brake fluid absorbs moisture, and technically speaking, you're supposed to be flushing your system every 3 to 4 years maximum, okay? So there's also that. And nobody flushes their system except for me. I flush it. I actually clean it out. So anyways, that has .4 in it right now, and I was thinking about 5.1. Now that brings us to 5.1. Now 5.1 can mix with .3 and .4 and has a higher boiling point and resists moisture absorption. It's fairly expensive stuff though. Comes in a nice little tin. But yeah, you can essentially mix .3, .4, .5.1. Now, the fourth brake fluid, and you cannot mix this, and this is why. .5 is silicone base. Now, you're probably asking yourself, well, why do they have a silicone base fluid? Well, it's for moist, very humid climates. If you're going to be running something in the snow, or if you're going to be riding something in the rain, and if you ever owned like an old Harley Davidson, you would know what .5. It's the purple fluid. It does not absorb moisture because it is a silicone base. However, because it is a silicone base, it is a spongy, okay? It actually compresses a little bit. So when you have a big reservoir and that you got a lot of fluid in the system, it compresses more, all right? The bigger the system, the more it compresses and the more spongier the feel. Now, why did they switch over to .3 and .4 if they absorbs moisture and you're going to get caught in the rain? Well, the reason why is because of ABS systems. See, silicone fluid is compressible. Dot 3 and dot 4 is not compressible. It hydraulically locks. It doesn't compress, okay? So when you're dealing with ABS units, okay, when the ABS kicks on, it's got a solid apply and solid release, okay? Solid apply. It's not a spongy effect. So dot 3 and dot 4 goes in ABS systems. You cannot put dot 5 in any ABS system whatsoever. We'll get into ABS at a later point, but I just want to cover brake fluid, get something out there for today, and I hope that helps. And I'll probably be thinking about this all day, so I'll probably be adding on to this video as the day progresses. But that's all I got for you. I hope that helps. You got something out of it? Cool. Great. Hit the like button and subscribe, and I will catch you on the flip.